Okay, so we are getting ready to add the shadow. We know what side of the trees we're going for. We're gonna stick to the left side. So if my light source is over here on my right, I'm gonna put my shadow on the left side. And we're going to look at those little ripples that we made in the bottom of that ghost there. And that's where we're going to draw our shadows to kind of make it look like those ripples are kind of going in and out. So I'm going to just go on the left side. I'm just going to start over here. So my light is coming this way. So we'll do a shadow right here. And I've got gray, just black and white mixed. And I'm just going to go straight up like that. And we'll go over to our next bump. And we'll go straight up there. And we can go over here and go straight up that way as well. Very good. I'm going to come back down over these and just lightly blend it a little bit on the side there. Just nice and light. There we go. Cool. All right, so we got a little shadow there. And I'm going to do that to my other ghosts as well. Just a little bit on this one in the background. Very lightly. A little bit right there. And this one right here, let's have him holding a pumpkin. I didn't show you that. That was on my example there. But we can have this one holding a pumpkin. Let's just give him some arms. So I'm just rinsing that gray off my brush, just adding some white. And let's give him little arms right here. So we'll just do a little line coming out and back in. So just kind of a little triangle coming off each side of this ghost here. Looks like his little elbows are sticking out. This is the one we did there with the Q-tips. So I'm just going to have that darkened a little bit there. There we go. And we'll let that dry and we'll come back and work on that a little bit more with some additional shadow. But now we've got the arms started right there. All right, I'm just rinsing my brush out again. We've just got a little bit of shadow. You can definitely pay more attention to that shadow. If you want to, you can make it slightly darker as it goes in, but I'm just gonna keep that nice and simple there. And now I'm gonna add some pumpkins. Let's add some pumpkins. What I'm gonna do with pumpkins is I'm gonna start with the orange, just a mid-tone color of orange. And then I'm going to do a shadow. So I'm going to mix orange with a little bit of black or a little bit of brown, whatever you feel like darkening your orange with. I'm just going to start with the main color of orange before we do the darkness, just to let you know where we're going. But let's go ahead and add a couple pumpkins here. I'm kind of leaning towards one right there. There's Gustave Doré put a little something on his hillside right there, and I'm going to cover it up with a pumpkin. So I'm just going for something medium size because I'm going to make a larger pumpkin, a smaller pumpkin, etc. So this one's going to be kind of medium sized there. And I'll do a smaller one, maybe way back here next to this ghost, and just really the size of my paintbrush there. Might be a little hard to see. Maybe that needs to brighten up just a little bit. And that's the thing, you're mixing your paint on a paper plate. I'm just using a paper plate. So it's white surface I'm mixing my paint on. And the painting I'm painting on is very dark. So when you go to put your paint on there, you're like, wow, that's darker than I thought it was. So just dance around a little bit by trying new things. So I'm just lightening up my orange a little bit there and just going ahead and making those pop just a little bit more. Now for these, I'm just letting my brush strokes kind of go in a circle shape there. It's kind of circular. All right, that's better. And let's put a bigger one here in the foreground. Let's see, kind of maybe right here, kind of on the edge of that bank. So for my pumpkins, you can do whatever shape. They look lumpy, they look bumpy. There's no perfect pumpkin out there. It looks fake. So definitely make yours have some personality by some lumps, giving it some lumps and some bumps. All right, I don't have that mixed up very well there. I'm sorry, let's see. There we go, that's a little bit better. I'm just painting it a flat orange color at this point. I got a little extra because I was near the yellow there, so we'll keep that and wants to be there. And I'm getting some of that translucent quality coming through here as I paint on here, and that's okay. I like that. And we're going to give it another layer. So I'm painting, actually you see me painting in one direction than the other, and that's because I'm noticing that I need more coverage there. And unlike my ghost, I don't want to have these direct seams going down. I want it to look more uniform there. So that's why I went both directions with that. So we got a little pumpkin there. And of course, our little ghost here is also waiting for a pumpkin. So I'm going to block one in there too. So I'll go ahead and just add a little pumpkin here. And I do want that to sit on top of that white, so you may have to just add a little bit more paint to that to get it thicker. The only time I'm using my water is when I'm rinsing my brush out to change color, because I'm painting on top of something. I don't want my paint too watered out. I like it to be thick. I am using acrylic paint, and it is inexpensive craft level paint. There's nothing fancy about this paint, but definitely gets the job done, and it's great for the budget. And it's not something I'm worried about. The end product looks just the same as it would if I were using the more expensive paint. So I'm just using inexpensive craft paint if you were curious. All right, just kind of giving that pumpkin a little, kind of looking like a tomato maybe a little bit there. There we go. There we go, looks more pumpkin now. Okay, cool, that can dry. Really, I didn't need to rinse my brush out, but kind of habit there. I'm going in for another color. I'm going to go for my dark shadow side of the pumpkin now to kind of bring that pumpkin to life. So I've mixed up some orange with some brown and a touch of the black. Black's gonna go a long way, so if you get it too dark, that's okay. You can just add a little bit more orange. I'm just mixing that in. All right, so this one's kind of dark anyway, but I'm, again, kind of focusing on those kind of, I guess I'm gonna call them ribs of the pumpkin. You know what I'm talking about. They're kind of curved, and it's kind of subtle, but I like subtle details. Gustave Doré has subtle details in his painting too, so I'm just adding some of these curves here of the pumpkin. And they're like parenthesis lines if you're thinking about that when you're painting. So I'm just doing like one parenthesis there, another parenthesis over here, and I'm just kind of putting a little extra shadow in some of these spots here. And I'm going to come back with my lights. So if you got your shadow too much on one side that you don't want it like I did there, that's okay. We're going to brighten that up. So here I am on this pumpkin, and I'm going to focus more on the left side of them there because they're kind of distant. And for my jack-o'-lantern here, I'm going to make that one into a jack-o'-lantern, I think. He's holding that. There we go. So just a little bit of shadow there on the bottom, and I'm going to plan to put a face on that one, so I'm not going to go too much on the shadow side there. Okay, now I'm going to rinse my brush out, and I'm going to do the bright spots on the pumpkin. I'm not really worried about it drying too much. I can go ahead and just paint wet on top of the wet there. Because I'm not really doing much blending at all. Let's see, go right maybe over here, and I know I've got my sun coming in on the right side, and I know he's deep in the woods, but we still want to call a little bit of attention to this pumpkin. So I just have a little bit of that yellow that I've mixed up here, and I've mixed yellow in with the orange, so it's not just a stark yellow, and I'm kind of giving some attention to the top part of the pumpkin where the light would hit it there, and giving it a space where that parenthesis, the pumpkin ribs, if you will, are on that side. And I added a little extra brightness there that I'm maybe not super happy with, so I'll just play around with that a little bit. There, that's kind of coming to life a little bit. A little bit of a reflection towards the bottom there so it doesn't get lost, just very subtle. All right, let's do some more of that brightness here in the background. Got kind of a bright orange mixed up. So when you are mixing a brighter color of orange, I recommend adding yellow to it instead of white. White's gonna give it a chalkiness and kind of make it a pastel orange. And in this case, I'm after a bright orange, so I mixed yellow in with my orange. And I'm gonna just add a little of that right here on the sunny side of these guys. So this is kind of, you know, you get something right there and you can kind of blend it a little bit like that. Yeah, so see how I had kind of a chunk of yellow on there, but my paintbrush was getting a little dry, so I just kept kind of blending it a little bit. And because it's still a little wet, you can get away with doing that, which works out nicely. I'm gonna just come back and kind of touch up that area. I've got it a little too bright for my liking on that side. So I'm just gonna come back and give it some of that medium orange right there. And I notice, oh, that medium orange is standing out. So let me add some more medium orange on there. So as you're painting, just let the painting kind of speak to you. And there are really no mistakes, especially with acrylic painting, because it dries so quickly, you can just paint over your mistakes so quickly. It's lovely. This painting in the foreground, or I'm sorry, this pumpkin in the foreground, not really standing out a whole lot to me. So I think I'm gonna just be a little bit bolder with it here. There we go. Just brighter. Just brighten it up. It's kind of a dark painting here. Of course, because it's a spooky looking painting. Just a little extra with the glowing orange there. That's that orange mixed with the yellow. Oh. I could spend a lot of time with that one, you know, you just want to get in there and just fix everything up, but that's okay. So spend as much time as you like. Painting is so relaxing. I'm going to give these pumpkins a little stem now. I've just mixed up some brown. And for my brown, I can mix yellow, orange, and a tiny bit of black and a little bit of red. If you mix a few different colors together, you're gonna get brown. So whatever you have in front of you, mix it together, you're gonna get a brown. You can lighten it up by adding a little bit of yellow, maybe a little bit of white. Mixing up paint is truly a lot of fun. So I'm going for kind of a mid-tone brown because I plan to give it a highlight. So let me just give everybody a little bit of a stem. That one in the back, I'm really not gonna see it. And look how dark that is. I can barely see that at all. So I know I definitely need to lighten that up with some white. So just adding some white there, and now I'm coming back in. Oh, much better. There we go. Just kind of giving it a little something. Now I'm back here. I'm going to give it just on the highlight side, the sun side, a little bit there.